quiet nurse, a dying man, a drug that should have never been in his system. For weeks, the signs were there, strange movements, quiet entries, records that didn't quite match. But no one looked twice. Not until Emily Hart vanished, and the surface of her life cracked open, revealing a hole big enough to hide a secret. You're watching Deep Crimes Uncovered. This is episode 3 of The Quiet Exit of Emily Hart, and in this chapter, we peel back the image of a woman once called an angel, only to find something far more human and far more dangerous underneath. This story takes us deeper into the shadows of Maple Hollow, and what we find will change everything. The patient's name was Joseph Miller, 84 years old, terminal cancer. Admitted to Maple Hollow Medical Center under hospice care, he had less than a month to live. He passed away quietly on March 2nd, with Emily Hart overseeing his final days. There were no alarms, no investigations. In small-town hospice care, death is often expected. Nobody questioned it. Until 3 weeks later, after Emily's disappearance, when the Vermont Medical Examiner's Office ordered a quiet toxicology test. What it found stunned everyone. Lethal levels of morphine. Enough to stop even a healthy man's heart. No doctor had prescribed that amount. No family member had been consulted. No nurse had logged it. Someone had made the decision, and someone had hidden it well. There were only 2 people with access that night. Emily Hart, and the backup hospice nurse, who hadn't worked a single shift since January. The discovery triggered a full-scale audit of the hospice center's narcotics inventory. Over the past 3 months, 34 units of morphine, 17 vials of midazolam had been signed out, all under Emily's name, but without corresponding patient documentation. That's enough to sedate more than a dozen patients. Some of the doses could be traced to legitimate cases, but others, completely missing. No paperwork, no explanations. Authorities widened their search. When they returned to Emily's modest home, they didn't just knock politely this time. They came with a warrant, and they came ready to dig. Inside the house, behind a loose floorboard in her bedroom closet, investigators made a chilling discovery. A small, airtight tin, tucked neatly out of sight. Inside it, 2 sealed vials of morphine, 1 unused syringe, and a folded piece of paper with 5 names written in Emily's careful handwriting. 3 of the names belonged to patients who had died under hospice care in the past 3 months. But the last 2 names? Unknown. No hospital files, no recorded deaths, no family members who ever stepped forward. It was as if they had never officially existed at all. The town of Maple Hollow erupted. Was this murder or mercy? To some, Emily was a savior, delivering the dying from unbearable suffering when the law tied everyone else's hands. To others, she was a cold executioner, deciding alone who deserved to live or die. Newspapers called it the Angel of Maple Hollow case. Talk radio hosts argued over ethics and end-of-life laws. The town, once united in grief, was now bitterly divided. And through it all, one terrible question remained. If Emily was helping the dying, who were the last 2 names? Because without records, without bodies, there was no way to know how far she had gone, or if the worst was still to come. Then came the first real lead. A nurse's aide, recently fired for misconduct, stepped forward. She claimed she once overheard Emily whispering on the staff kitchen phone, late at night, long after visiting hours had ended. Emily wasn't speaking to a patient. She was speaking to someone named John. The words the aide remembered sent chills down investigators' spines. Soon, Emily had said. After the last one, then I'll be ready. At the time, the aide dismissed it as grief, stress, hospital fatigue. But now, It sounded different. It sounded like a plan. Detectives scoured every record they could find. There was no Jonathan listed as family, no boyfriend, no co-workers. But then, a breakthrough. Security footage from the hospice break room, dated February 10th, captured a man in hospital scrubs speaking quietly to Emily. He wasn't staff. No ID, no badge. And 2 weeks later, just like Emily, he vanished. Next time, on the quiet exit of Emily Hart, a hidden journal, a forged identity, and the web of lies that made Emily's disappearance possible. Because running away was never something she planned to do alone. Enjoying the story? Hit subscribe, smash the like button, and leave a comment with your theories. Episode 4 is where the true conspiracy begins to unfold. This is Deep Crimes Uncovered.